Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cold Hard Truth Podcast. I am Shrikar Gendran.
I'm Jack Smith.
And I'm Anish Gupta.
And we're going to cover a wide range of topics today. We got midseason awards for football. We're going to go over our slate of games for Week 10. We're in Week 10, right?
Week 10.
Yeah.
Week 10, and we're going to go over most disappointing team, most surprising team, most disappointing player, most surprising player. And then for the NBA, we're going to give our predictions for what's going to happen in the playoffs, what's going to happen, just awards. And for college football, we got two big games this week: Minnesota, Penn State. We also got LSU, Alabama. So we got a lot. Yep, we got a lot to cover. So let's dive right in. Midseason awards, Offensive Player of the Year. What are y'all thinking?
Oh, man, it's got to be Christian McCaffrey.
Completely disagree.
Whoa!
There are so many good running backs in today's NFL. Christian McCaffrey does have some great stats, but Michael Thomas is by far the best receiver in the league this year, leading wide receivers in almost every category.
And Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in the league.
Okay, but Dalvin Cook is not that far off.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm saying when you have a position that has so many great players, and McCaffrey's not that much better this year than Dalvin Cook has been, he's been great. You're not wrong about it. But Michael Thomas leads the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, and receptions for first downs, and he still has a respectable number of touchdowns playing with a backup quarterback. How is that not Offensive Player of the Year?
Well, the thing is, wide receivers rely on their quarterback, and McCaffrey hasn't had much to deal with. Starting off 0-2, Cam Newton goes out, and McCaffrey, the Panthers were necessarily done. People thought Cam Newton's career might be over. They thought the Panthers might not be a championship contender. Hell, they thought they would even tank. But, McCaffrey and Kyle Allen, they were able to pick this team up, and they went 5-1 after.
Okay. Yeah, and like you were saying, Thomas was playing with a backup, but McCaffrey was too. And the lack of wide receivers on the Panthers, he was forced in a situation where he had to do it all, and he stepped up to that challenge big time. So I'm really thinking this guy is definitely putting together an MVP candidate season. So the point is do you see Michael Thomas as a potential MVP candidate? Yes. But do you see him as high as the ranks of Christian McCaffrey? Because when you look at our MVP candidates, what do we have? Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Christian McCaffrey.
Lamar Jackson.
Seeing a running back up there, that's you have to have a really good season for a running back, dude.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, you guys
Stop.
Not anymore.
Okay. Lamar Jackson jokes are so overused. They are so overdone to the point, and he's been proving people wrong every game.
It's their defense.
Did you guys not see that Pats game? Did you not see the week? Well, to play the Dolphins.
Okay, but going back to Michael Thomas, you say that, yes, McCaffrey was playing with a backup quarterback, but now imagine you're a backup quarterback coming into the NFL. What are you going to do? Throw it deep to your receivers? No, you're going to hand it off to your best player, which is your running back. You're going to throw the short passes to your running back, which means he's going to get a ton of touches, and he's going to be the one to carry the team. So I think with a backup quarterback, just makes McCaffrey's stats more padded.
Look.
But
let's throw it back to last year. Nick Mullins versus the Oakland Raiders. First game. As a third-string quarterback, he threw to his receivers. He didn't go to his running back as much in that game.
You can't base Offensive Player of the Year off of stuff last year. And what I'm saying is, Michael Thomas, though he's had these stats and all that, and he's winning, Christian McCaffrey hasn't had a good O-line. They lost Ryan Khalil in the offseason, who I believe played for the Jets early on.
Yeah, he's been awful.
Yeah, but he was a Pro Bowl center for the Panthers. McCaffrey hasn't had a good O-line. Their O-line isn't, I believe it's not top 10 even, but McCaffrey's still been able to put up these numbers. They've beaten some relatively good teams. They did beat Houston at Houston, and I think McCaffrey was a big part of that. He's been a big part of every single win except the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which, I don't know, it's like his kryptonite, but they still won one of those games, and that was in London. So I think McCaffrey, just overall as an Offensive Player of the Year, is a great spot for him, and I think he might even be MVP. But Russell Wilson is just...
I'd be fine with the pick either McCaffrey or Michael Thomas for Offensive Player of the Year. I just feel like with Breeze coming back, all this stuff Michael Thomas did with the Bridgewater is only going to get better with Breeze. And I feel like McCaffrey might not have as good a second half as he has the first half. Just a hot take here, but I'll take Michael Thomas for Offensive Player of the Year. But I completely agree with people that could think that it was McCaffrey.
All right, moving on, let's go with MVP.
Russell Wilson. Tell me, who else?
You sound really excited about that for a Niners fan, huh? Ready to see him come smack your team at
Hey,
Stadium?
I like great players, and he is a great player, all right?
Yeah, I completely agree. I got Russell Wilson, too. I think it's kind of a wipe across the board.
I'm not sure. Because Russell Wilson, he's been putting up numbers, but the Seahawks in general, they just haven't look good to me because they only
They're a playoff team.
but they beat Cincinnati by 1 at home, right? They barely beat Tampa Bay, and they should have lost to the Rams off that field goal. And I just frankly, those are 3 losses right there. And if it wasn't for penalties, the Browns would have beaten them as well.
I mean,
So.
I don't think you can put that all on Russell Wilson, though. I mean, you're saying they're a bad team. Yes, I completely agree. I don't think they're as good as people
They
think.
don't have a good
think
O-line.
they are.
The
They
Seahawks
don't
aren't
have
a
a
bad
good O-line.
team. They're
They
not a
only have
bad
a couple
team. They have
receivers.
playmakers, and that's not Russell Wilson can make anyone look good. I'm not disregarding that he is not an MVP candidate, but I think you could look to what Christian McCaffrey is doing, even what Aaron Rodgers is doing, despite that ugly loss to the Chargers. I think he has a case. And I hate to say it, but even Lamar Jackson has some sort of a case for beating the Patriots. That's a huge, huge win.
Okay, but see, so you're arguing that McCaffrey should win MVP.
Not he should. It's just I think there should be more. There should be more questions to Russell Wilson.
All right, then who is it?
If I were to go with someone right now, I would go with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Okay, here's my thing.
The level of competition he's beaten, I think it's fair to say, and his stats are as good.
Didn't
if
he
not
just
better than
lose to
Russell.
the Chargers?
That doesn't. One loss.
Didn't the
does not
Chargers
define
lose
you.
to the Raiders?
But that one loss does not define you. One loss does not define you because you can go to Russell Wilson who lost to Baltimore, who got destroyed by Baltimore. Like
So
the
the Patriots?
so were the score. Yeah, but the score was 30 to 16, but it was more than that. Like it was well over in the first half. And I'm not disregarding Russell Wilson. I mean, he's on my fantasy team. I gotta love him, but I don't see it. I feel like it's more of a pity thing because he's never won one, and Aaron Rodgers has too. But I think Aaron Rodgers does deserve it right now, slightly over Russell Wilson.
I feel like the point you bring up about that the Seahawks aren't a great team, but they have a good record right now, is complete evidence that Russell Wilson.
No, they are a good team.
You think they are a good team?
Yes. They have Pro Bowlers all over. Tyler Lockett has emerged.
Carson's been pretty good this
Carson's
year.
good, but he fumbles a lot. But I think
kept them down.
I think all these players breaking out this year for the Seahawks and being like really good is all on Russell Wilson.
It is largely,
and that's why I'm picking him for MVP. He makes everyone around him better. He's led the Seahawks to I think a better record than they might deserve right now. They should have lost some of those games. You're right.
Yeah.
But I think Russell Wilson's the one that's won them those games, and that's why I think he's MVP.
You can count it on their defense too. I mean, when it was late against Tampa Bay, they did hold out and they did shut them down late in the fourth.
They did allow about 150 points before that, so
that is fine. But you bend but don't break.
All right, let's move on to offensive and defense rookie of the year. I think it's pretty obvious. Josh Jacobs and Nick Bosa. I don't think anyone has anyone different.
Yep.
I think so, but just keep in mind Devin Bush could make a run for it later in the year.
Bosa is literally getting considered for defensive player of
I'm
the
not
year.
Only by
That's
you?
the first guy since LT.
I'm not
by
disregarding why would I disregard? He is amazing. He went to Ohio State, aka the best college team in football.
Stop.
Yes, they are. And Nick Bosa is a absolute beast. I mean, you saw it. I mean, him when he planted the flag against Baker. I mean, he's just an absolute monster. What he did to Kyle Allen. I mean, just absolute amazing. But Devin Bush could make a run for it.
Yeah, you can also say Josh Allen too for the Jaguars has more sacks than Nick Bosa. I'm pretty sure.
Not pretty sure.
But again,
Bosa's
it just sucks because these players they don't get recognition despite them having a lot of wins because Bosa is on an 8-0 team. Devin Bush his team is doing decent. I mean, the Steelers are 4-4, but they just haven't beaten good teams, and they should have lost to the Colts. We all know that if Vinatieri didn't hit off the laces. So.
And for offensive rookie of the year, Josh Jacobs, the only person coming close to Josh Jacobs is Kyler Murray. And even then, I don't see Kyler Murray beating Josh
Terry
Jacobs.
McLaurin's having a good year.
Nah, he's
but
not
not
as of late.
But
He
I
had a
still
strong
think-
start.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw something earlier today. Josh Jacobs on pace for 1,400 yards
That's insane.
on the ground.
Yeah. And he's getting touchdowns too. He's a bit inconsistent with touchdowns, but that's fine. His team is 5-4, and I think it's great.
All right, let's move on. We got defensive player of the year.
Ooh,
I don't know who you guys are going to go with.
Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore.
I don't think so. I mean, I think Marlon Humphrey's playing better than him right now. And
I just don't think you can give it to the corner.
I don't even think he's the best corner in the league.
I disagree with that.
Who's the best corner in the league? Tell me.
Marlon Humphrey.
Marlon Humphrey?
Yes. He's been shutting down players left and right.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, I would take Marlon
Best
Humphrey.
corner in the league right now.
Right
Still
now,
Stephon
it's
Gilmore.
tough.
I'm going to go Stephon Gilmore, man.
It's tough because...
You could say that's all scheme, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Patriots,
Yeah.
everyone's been locking down.
Yeah. The Patriots secondary is always top 10.
We do know
always
Belichick's
top 10.
good with the
Exactly.
defense.
So I'm going to take Marlon Humphrey because the Ravens, their secondary's always been iffy. because they've only had Ed Reed as a safety. Now they have Earl Thomas, but their corners have never been good. Their best corner in the past 10 years, I believe, it was Jimmy Smith or Ladarius Webb. But Marlon Humphrey comes in and becomes a lockdown corner for them. I think he's better than Stephon Gilmore. If we're going Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald just hasn't been doing much. And
I think he's probably going to be triple teamed almost every play.
One edge rusher, the record may not show it, Myles Garrett.
oh, yeah.
He's
monster.
He's my definite pick for Defensive Player of the Year right now. I think there's zero chance it's going to go to a corner in today's NFL.
I agree.
You're going to talk about Shaq Barrett, who has half a sack more than Myles Garrett,
No.
less forced fumbles, and Myles Garrett leads the NFL in tackles for loss while being able to get to the quarterback.
Completely agree. I mean, the Browns are a mess, but he is their one solid spot.
And, that's exactly what you want when you pick a player first overall.
Yep.
I mean, you go into that draft, no one's asking who's going number one overall. Everyone's asking who's going number two because they already know Myles Garrett's a shoe-in for them one pick, and he's turned into a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in only a matter of years.
The good pick we made.
And just a little side note here, the Browns, they've been struggling. Do you think the blame deserves to go all on Baker or all on Kitchens? Who should be blamed?
The Browns high-ups. They should not have hired Freddie Kitchens as the head coach.
Totally agree.
They should have stuck with Greg Williams and gotten an offensive coordinator that knew Baker well. Riley.
The problem with Greg Williams was that Odell did not want Greg Williams to be there, and there was just this big clash. And the problem was John Dorsey should not have listened to a rookie quarterback. Why do you listen to Baker if he says, "Oh, get me Freddie Kitchens"? You don't need to listen to a rookie quarterback who hasn't seen as much of the NFL. Yes, they went 5-2 in the final 7 games, but those opponents that my Browns beat, they just weren't good. And I just don't see why you, as a general manager who's built this team up from scratch, really from scratch. I mean, our best receiver was Kenny Britt. I mean, that sucks. So I don't know why you listen to Baker here. I think you go with your gut, and I think you're right. You should have kept Greg Williams. And frankly, I mean, the Odell trade, I was skeptical at first because you shouldn't give up Kevin Zeitler. That guy was an all-pro, and I just don't know what else to say about that.
And let's just make it clear right off the bat. Anish here is a Browns fan. Jack here, you're a Jets fan, right?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it right now. I see ghosts every time.
I am a San Francisco 49ers fan. We're just going to make that clear right now. And moving on, Comeback Player of the Year, one of the most interesting awards. What do you guys think
Well,
about
first let's lay it out. I mean, who do we have on the table? We have Jimmy G, Cooper Kupp. You could say Dalvin Cook, even though I don't think it really works.
Earl Thomas is definitely up there.
Earl Thomas is up there.
I think it's Jimmy. I think it's got to be Jimmy Garoppolo.
No.
Well, you are a Niners fan, so I would completely understand that. He has been good, but he has not been the Niners.
He's 8-0.
He's 8-0, yes, but it's not all him.
So I agree with the fact that quarterbacks should be based on wins, but his if you go with stats also, they just haven't. He's been getting carried by his defense.
Okay, but if anything, that Arizona game,
but that's against
Jimmy
Arizona.
had to win that game.
Arizona is dead
and it was
last.
reverting back to his 2017.
Arizona and Tampa Bay are dead last.
And their defense almost lost, and the Niners' defense almost lost them that game.
But that's the thing. The Niners
Jimmy
defense,
had to push them through.
But their Niners defense has been consistently good, and just one game.
But was it good against Arizona?
But it was a short week on the road against the division rival.
It was a short week.
In a divisional game, anything can happen. The Browns tied the Steelers with basically nothing last year.
Okay, so who's your pick, Anish?
I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp.
I completely agree.
Either Cooper Kupp or Earl Thomas, but I believe
they won't give it to a safety.
It should be Cooper Kupp. It will be Cooper Kupp if they make the playoffs.
I mean,
the Niners are already going to... They're basically locked to make the playoffs. So
I believe if Cooper Kupp was there last year, the Rams would be Super Bowl champions.
I feel like Jimmy just has the best shot. 1, he's a quarterback. 2, he's 8-0, and 3, it's like he's reverting back to his 2017 form.
But we've seen defensive players win comeback player of the year, so Earl Thomas should not be discounted. Eric Berry won it.
Cooper Kupp, 58 receptions for a near 800 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Through half the year.
He was a former third-string wide receiver on the Rams. Yep. Tore his ACL, I believe, last year, and has come back this year as one of the best wide receivers.
He even came back early, too.
I just don't think you can say that from a torn ACL, Jimmy Garoppolo has come back and been one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I definitely don't think you can say that. His team has been the best team in the league so far, but Cooper Kupp has been one of the best wide receivers in the league. Something I just don't think you can say about Garoppolo this year.
All right.
I mean, I think he might even be top 5. He could be.
At least this year. Yeah.
Cooper Kupp?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's definitely top 10.
Yeah, but he could be top 5 by the end of this year.
All right, moving on to Coach of the Year. I think Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. No.
I'm going to go with Freddie Kitchens.
I was gonna say Belichick I was gonna put Belichick's name in the race until they lost to the Ravens because not only has he been the head coach of a team that was going to be undefeated with a win against the Ravens, but his defense had been historic to start the year. His defense.
Who have they played?
I get
Tell
that,
me.
but
They haven't played a top 20
Who
offense.
have they played?
what about the Niners?
Well, they've been playing better
They've
teams.
been
Better
better
teams,
teams.
but not the best of the best.
But
And
that
we'll see.
doesn't-
We'll see.
it's
We'll
been
see that
better.
this week on Monday.
That is true.
Okay,
That is true. But they
just
did,
observing-
They did allow 25 points to Kyler Murray, but that was on again a short week on the road, and not only that, they are 8-0, and the NFC is way tougher than the AFC. I think we can all agree on
And
that.
just observing the 49ers like over the years and what Shanahan has brought to the team, like a new sense of culture.
And Sean McVay,
Chemistry
a quick
is
thing,
perfect there.
Sean McVay is not the best coach in the NFC West.
Nope.
It
Nope.
is Kyle Shanahan.
It is
Or
Shanny.
Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll also deserves to be in that conversation.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's just
with
consistently
And
good.
John Harbaugh. The way he's developed Lamar Jackson, you know what? I think I'm going to go John Harbaugh, coach of the
Flip
year.
it. Another
Coach of the year?
Yes.
There's another John around here too. John Gruden. His Raiders are doing a lot
They
better.
But come on, over Kyle Shanahan.
Yes. I think
No,
John
You gotta be
I
kidding.
don't
the
think
way
anyone
he's
will win
developed
other
Lamar
than Shanahan.
Jackson and the way he's developed this defense and how they are right now, I believe they are 6-2.
The
They're riding
49ers are
Tell-
8-0,
tell
and
me-
they were 4-12 last year.
I'm
You're
not
telling me
discounting-
Shanahan does not deserve coaching.
I think Kyle Shanahan has it now, but they do have a tough schedule. And if they start losing games, so does his stock for coach of the
Do you-
year.
do you remember
if
where
John
the
Harbaugh
Ravens-
finishes,
And the 49ers
season's
do
tough.
play the Ravens.
yeah,
So that should be a
that's a
very
very good
interesting
game.
game.
Do you remember where the Ravens ranked in league standings last year? Didn't they win their division?
Yes.
Okay, where were the Niners? The second worst team in the National Football League?
Garoppolo was not there. And
Okay.
they did not have many of their playmakers that they do there.
And
There we
And
go.
Quan Alexander
Jimmy
was
for
out.
comeback player of the year.
Quan Alexander was out. I mean, he's out now, but he did help them this year. I mean, they did get Nick Bosa, obviously. Solomon Thomas has been a lot better ever since the death of his sister.
Easily best defensive line in the league.
So far,
No
yeah.
question.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about players, and we've already talked about a couple teams, but most disappointing teams, two teams we haven't talked about, the Falcons and the Bears have been
Yeah.
shells of
Oh,
themselves this year.
I had high hopes. for the
Oh
Falcons.
man.
Well, I did pick them to go to the Super Bowl, so
I feel so bad for the Falcons, man, and especially like Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan is still playing at such a high level.
Yep.
I just feel like it's Dan Quinn's defense, his coaching in
And
general.
he was a
it's just
defense.
not.
He was the defensive coordinator behind that Legion of Boom. So what happened? I mean, they have playmakers.
They
Keanu
have-
Neal, Deion Jones.
well, Keanu Neal, isn't he injured?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
but
he was
he's
out for
coming
the
back.
I think the season last year where they were ravaged by injuries has had a full effect on their
Yep.
season this year.
I think it's still that Super Bowl hangover, 20-3. I mean, even though Kyle Shanahan's gone, head coach is still there, quarterback's still there. I mean, but
Wide
Don't get me
receiver's
wrong.
still there.
Julio Jones is still. I mean, you had it with Mike Thomas, but I think Julio's still top. I think the top guy. But
And they have Calvin Ridley. There's no shortage of weapons with
Yeah,
Austin Hooper
exactly.
emerging as the
Austin
top fantasy
Hooper,
tight end
yeah.
and one of the best in the
He's
league right
big
now.
yeah.
I think he's top 3. I think he is. He's just been consistently good for them, despite. I mean, though they do like to throw a lot because they do get down early, but. I think Austin Hooper should be in the conversation for top 3 tight ends.
And with the Bears, Trubisky. It's
Yeah.
literally Trubisky.
See, I think
I cannot do it with this guy.
Yeah, I think it's Trubisky and their lack of offensive weapons. I don't think
they have weapons.
They have Allen Robinson, but
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, you watched him play the
Robinson,
first game.
Montgomery.
The
David
first
Montgomery's
Dave
too
Montgomery's good,
inconsistent.
but the first game against the Packers, 25 passes went to Tariq Cohen,
Yeah.
and instead, all I heard was Tariq Cohen. They need to have a new quarterback, I think, over this offseason, and I think they also need
Cam
some
Newton.
more weapons on offense.
Cam Newton, I
Uh,
think, is definitely a strong
I mean,
candidate
I
for the
love Cam.
Bears.
People hate on him so much for no reason
That's
because
me.
I mean, though Andrew Luck retired, Cam Newton has had a better career than Andrew Luck, and there was conversation of who should Andrew Luck stay or leave for the 2011 draft. He decided to stay, but Cam Newton has had a better career. He's been to a Super Bowl. He has more MVPs, and I believe he has just as many All Pros as him. So Cam Newton should not be hated. He has changed the.
Cam Newton
He
going
has
to the
had a
Super-
good career, and he has been really bad as of late. And he's also riddled with injuries, and
Who's
that's
his
why I
best
don't think
receiver? Who is his best receiver?
if you were a Bear,
Curtis Samuel.
if you were a
DJ
Bear
Moore.
Nope.
high up person, I do not think that you would like to trade for Cam Newton right now.
You shouldn't
because
trade
he
for him. I
hasn't-
think you should wait. Wait till the offseason. Why trade now? I think wait till the offseason, see what your
Hey,
team
he's a free
is.
agent.
Yeah.
I just don't think that you can validate bringing in Cam Newton, who has been bad as of late and has some
But here's-
terrible injury history and doesn't.
You
I mean,
can get him
everyone
for
thought
cheap.
he was going to get better over the year. Everyone thought he was going to come back soon. Now he's out
Well,
for
it's
this
worse
year
than we
again.
thought. It's worse than we
It's
thought.
worse
so
than
we
we thought because it's always worse
But
than we
you
think.
can get him for cheap though. You can probably get him for maybe even 15 mil, maybe even less. I mean, like Cam Newton is still a solid NFL quarterback, and with the right system, Matt Nagy's a great coach. In fact, he won Coach of the Year last year.
Matt Nagy's play calling has been kind of iffy this year.
That's-
Especially in that Packers game, you saw, like, where was Montgomery? Like, where was he? And it's like, I don't know how, like... I don't know. I think Matt Nagy's play calling is also just kind of chipping into the Bears' struggles. But I think the root of the blame has to go to Trubisky.
Okay, I believe that too, and obviously, I mean, Cleveland they just haven't lived up to that.
Yeah,
Well,
you
and the Jets,
touched
you know,
on it.
as a Jets fan, I'm going to sound a little biased,
Okay,
but I
Jets-
can't
Jets-
stand this season. I mean, you know, coming in with hopes of possible playoffs, coming in second in the AL East.
That is true.
They have been so bad, bad, and they don't.
But listen, if the Browns beat the Bills, I mean, we're still in it. All right.
I
We have an
completely
easy-
disagree.
We have an easy schedule. Cream Hunt comes back.
I think
Sounds
you
like a
guys-
homer to me.
I think you guys dug yourself too big of a hole to come back
That loss
out
to
of.
Brandon Allen.
Especially,
I think the Broncos should ride with them the rest of the year.
Well,
no,
they have to.
did you hear their news today that they are going to start Drew Lock the last 2 games of the season?
I wouldn't.
It
do
makes
that.
sense,
I
but,
wouldn't
like...
do that. Brandon Allen just beat Cleveland. I mean, they have a good
Well,
defense.
so have a lot of other quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, that
6
is-
losses, right?
Yes, but Cleveland has had a good defense. We just said Myles Garrett has made a case for Defensive Player of the Year. Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams are coming back more. And but yes, the Browns are definitely a disappointment. Just sucks to see it, but yes.
And I think easily the most surprising team right now, the Niners.
Yep, no question.
And the Packers, too.
Packers have been good.
Ravens.
Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur, also
Yeah,
a
and
candidate
Ravens.
for
Coach of the Year.
for Coach of the Year.
Yes, and the Ravens too. Don't discount that. I mean, we didn't even have them winning the division earlier. I mean, some people didn't even have them second. I think some
No,
people had the
I
Steelers
believed that
People really doubted
Lamar
Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson.
After seeing him get dismantled by the Chargers in the playoffs,
Yeah.
I thought all the other teams had figured him out.
But
They
then
knew
again,
what
he
to
did
do.
come back. He did
And
almost.
he came out against the Dolphins the first week, lit it up. I'm like, well, it's the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Then
And
the
he's
Cardinals.
been-
Well, it's the
He's been
Cardinals.
very well.
Yep.
He's been very good
Yep.
throughout the year.
All right, moving on to the NBA. Who do you guys think's winning the championship this year? Clippers. Clippers in my mind.
I'm gonna
They're
go,
too deep.
I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Lakers, and yes, I'm gonna go with the Lakers because you gotta try. In Braun, we trust.
I'm sorry, but once PG comes back, once Paul George comes back,
How
Clippers are going to dismantle every team in the NBA. Except the Suns, because the Suns are goated.
Yeah.
But, like, you know what I mean?
Okay, I'm not the biggest NBA expert, but I kind of know a lot about brackets and stuff, and I believe that the East will win the championship this year because the West is so
Mhm.
stacked. They are going to tear each other apart in the playoffs. You see what the Warriors went through last year in the western part of the playoffs? Just got absolutely hounded, got injured. The defense is much better. It's much more physical, and I think whatever team comes out of the West will have gone through a lot more than the team in the East, and I think the Eastern team will win.
It's fair to say that the Lakers and Clippers. I mean, I think everyone can agree that that'll probably be the Western
That's
Conference
definitely
matchup.
Western Conference.
So people do say that is the NBA Finals itself, but I do like Milwaukee right now. Giannis is just
Giannis is on a tear.
like
He's the most talented player in the league.
Hey, guys, Giannis is going to join the Warriors.
No, not happening.
I don't think anyone wants to join the Warriors right now.
But I mean, Giannis has just been on another level, and I think he just what has he been doing? Every game it seems like he's doing 38 points, 17 rebounds, something like that, insane amount of assists. But I love the Bucks coming out. The Sixers have been really good as well. I mean, Joel Embiid's coming back after that suspension.
I'll take the Suns.
Again, clarifying our fandoms. Anish,
Obviously a Cavs fan.
he is a
Please.
Cleveland Cavaliers fan. That sucks. Me
Yes,
and
it
Jack
does.
are Warriors fans. And yeah, the Warriors right now, they are crumbling. They do not have Curry, no Clay, no Draymond, no D'Lo.
Makes me happy.
Crumbling makes
Yeah.
it sound like it's still going on. They have fallen, I think, to the lowest they will ever get. I just don't.
The lowest
how
they'll
can you
ever
go
get?
down?
I
How
don't
can
know.
you go down from here? In this dynasty and era of the Steve Kerr, I'm not sure he will have started
Well,
a
see,
worse team than he just.
Steve
had
Kerr
been
is
doing
finally
recently.
going to have to coach. I mean, he's just had talented players
No,
throughout.
stop.
No,
Steve Kerr was
no,
still a
no,
good coach.
no.
Stop. He was still a good coach.
He
He's
drove
a
them out
good
of the
coach.
You are
depths.
capping, bro.
He's a good
is still a
coach.
good coach.
He's a good coach, but I mean, he's finally gonna have,
Tyronn
he's
Lue.
gonna he's gonna have to take this
Yeah,
team
yeah.
to another level.
Didn't
But
Tyronn Lue just let LeBron James run the whole offense?
he basically did. I mean,
yeah. So you
LeBron-
can't really comment on
LeBron-
Steve Kerr.
we do have one. That's all. I'm happy with one. But and just to clarify, Giannis is the first player in NBA history with 200 points, 100 rebounds, 50 assists in the first 8 games of the season, and that includes Will Chamberlain.
Yep. I think Giannis is definitely my MVP pick right now.
Right
It's too
now.
early to tell, but I think it's got to be Giannis.
I disagree. It's either LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard.
I'll take LeBron by the end of the year.
Yes, because Kawhi Leonard, he could win it, but he just doesn't play. I mean, this whole load management thing has just been sweeping the NBA. I mean, Greg Popovich has really changed the culture here. And, I mean, Chris Broussard recently said it. I mean, if you're a team, you should pay for the games they play. So if you don't want to play 82 games, then fine. We'll pay you for the amount of games that you want to play. And, I mean, if Kawhi doesn't want to play that many games, I think his contract should be restructured. And as we saw, the Clippers just did get fined $50K for not playing Kawhi Leonard. But LeBron, he's been playing every game. They've been winning, though they barely beat the Bulls. I think the Lakers can take this team really far. And the Clippers, you never know. With Paul George coming back, I mean, this team, how is it going to gel with Paul George? You never know. Could it gel good? Could it gel bad? You never know. But the Lakers, I mean, you're seeing some great things. They're meeting expectations. And I think that's my pick to win the NBA championship.
So we moved to LA, a great basketball town, not a great college football city at the moment. UCLA, USC, my favorite team, USC, has not been doing well this year. But teams that have been doing well, just got ranked high in the CFB top 25. What do you think about the playoff rankings?
Go Bucks.
Okay, let's talk about Clemson. Let's talk about Clemson for a bit. Do you think they should have made
No.
top 4?
Nope. Because it's gonna even itself out anyway. I mean, Ohio State, Penn State play, and Bama and LSU play anyway, so they're gonna.
I don't
get
think
in
Clemson has played a formidable team
Yeah.
to date, and I do not think they will for the entire rest
They
of the
will
season
never play against
until the offseason.
yeah. Their conference is just so weak. I mean, the ACC, like, who is that? The only player I knew in the ACC that wasn't from Clemson was Daniel Jones. And what has he been doing in the NFL? Turnover machine. And I've been a fan of Baker Mayfield. But I believe they got it right for the most part. Ohio State should be number 1.
Mm-hmm.
No bias there. And
I
LSU
disagree. Right now, I think LSU should be number 1. I feel LSU,
Nah,
Ohio State dismantled Wisconsin,
Yep.
but LSU has 2 wins against top 10 teams, if I'm correct.
But their point differential, because college football, the committee does take
Yes,
that
that
into
is true,
factor.
but the strength of LSU's schedule is above Ohio State right now. and
That's
I think
later
that's
on.
What you have to
That's
get.
la-
I'm
and
talking
Ohio
about
State-
right now.
Even
Ohio
then-
State will have, I think, play a rough schedule, but I feel like LSU playing at least 3 top 10 teams with Alabama this week, and they have maybe the best player in college football at the moment in Joe Burrow, even though I think that's subject to change.
I think Ohio State's been playing great. I mean, they played
Oh,
two
no
top
doubt.
20. They played 2 top 20 teams, and I mean, 73-point differential, 80-7. LSU, I believe it was 63-45. That's an 18-point differential. So I think they got it right there. And not only that, they do play 2 top 15 teams to end it.
Okay.
They do play Penn State, and they do play Michigan, which is always a big game. And Maryland, who they played this week, they're no joke. I mean, yes, they aren't ranked, but they're not an easy route most of the time. In fact, last year came down to a 2-point conversion with them.
Okay, I understand what you're saying about who Ohio State has played, but I don't think you can say anyone on Ohio State's schedule is better than either Florida, which LSU has beaten.
I believe Penn State obviously is better, and Wisconsin, I believe.
Yeah,
is
but they
better
haven't
as well.
played Penn State yet, is what I'm trying to say.
But Wisconsin, I think I would take Wisconsin as better. I mean,
As better
Jonathan
than who?
Taylor. Jonathan Taylor did make his case for the Heisman early on.
Early on, not against.
I think Wisconsin is better than Florida.
Well, that's a debate for another day. So right now, I would say that the top 4 would be LSU, Ohio State, Alabama, and then Penn State, with Clemson coming in at number 5.
I agree with the 4, but obviously I'd take Ohio State 1. How about you, Shrikar?
I'd probably go same with Jack here.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest college football fan, but I kind of know enough to see Clemson should probably be out of the top.
Well,
top 4.
I think it'll
have-
change a lot by the end of the year because I think Alabama, hot take right here, I think they're going to embarrass LSU and Joe Burrow this week. I
They
think
did it
they're
last
going
year.
to win by multiple scores. I think Joe Burrow is going to look human again, and I do not think he will be leading the Heisman race as of next week.
And Tua Tagovailoa may come back. It's a game time decision.
He'll probably play, but even then, I think LSU is going to put up a great fight. I disagree with that. I don't think Bama's going to rout him.
I would say it's a
Saban-
rout. I would say at least a 2-score victory. But I think a more important injury update, other than Tua is a huge one. But I also think just on the same level, Grant Delpit for LSU got hurt in the game last week.
Yep.
If he cannot come back, the Tigers lose a huge part of their defense.
I agree with that, and I believe it is at Alabama too, which is a tough one.
So by the end of the year, I think with Ohio State beating Penn State and Alabama beating
That'll round out the top 10.
Alabama beating LSU. I believe it will be Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, and Oklahoma at the end of the year.
Oklahoma.
And Justin Fields will win the Heisman Trophy. I had Chase Young, but I don't think with all the stuff that's happened today,
Yeah.
I do not think Chase Young will win the Heisman anymore. Even if he deserves it, there's zero way they're going to give it to him.
Suspended indefinitely against Maryland, and he could be out for the 2019 season. Oh, God.
Wow.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, they said he took a loan early in his college career. He's paid it off in
He
full,
has
but
paid it off, yes.
but it's still not legal for the NCAA.
Yeah, but Oklahoma, I do not agree with that. I mean, I can't have them at 4.
Who would your fourth team be at the end of the year?
It's
You
tough.
gonna put a Pac-12 team in there?
I think Georgia could round it up.
Georgia with the loss to South Carolina. I mean,
I think they could.
so
They love SEC. The committee loves SEC teams.
who are they going to? So you have them beating Bama in the SEC championship game.
I think they can. Yeah, I think they. I mean, they're fueled by that loss to South Carolina Gamecocks, but I think they could. They could. I think they could beat.
All right, we will find that out at the end of the year. For Heisman Trophy, who do you guys have?
I have Justin Fields.
Gotta go with my guy, Justin Fields.
All right, well, across the board, no one's picking Jalen Hurts. It's surprising to me, actually.
I had him early in the year, but now I'm just
That
leaning
loss.
more toward Justin Fields.
Yeah, no, took a tough loss. I can't pick him after that.
Okay, so there are a bunch of huge games this week, ton of different sports. Streetcar, why don't you pick a couple games from the NFL, pick some college games, make some predictions.
Yep.
Cool, let's just go over all these NFL games. First of all, the Chiefs and the Titans going at it. Mahomes may be coming back.
Mahomes is coming back. They
He
will
is
do it
coming
earlier
back?
today,
All right,
yes.
so I definitely think I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I just think Mahomes comes back and he's going to be a game wrecker
I'll
on
take
offense.
the Chiefs in a 10-point victory.
It's close. It's actually close for me. I've been liking the Titans, but I mean Tannehill's actually filled in well for Mariota. But I will have to go Kansas City here. I think I'm going to take them as well.
I'm going to say Chiefs by 6.
I
It's
agree
going to
with
be a
that.
close game for
Yep.
sure.
But I feel like Tennessee could cover the spread.
All right, Lions, Bears in Chicago.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with
I'm going to say
Detroit.
Lions.
I'm going to say Detroit, but it's going to be close because Stafford has been playing well on the road, but their defense hasn't. And the run game is it's still nowhere to be found. I mean, this team has had one 100-yard rusher in the last 6 years. How can you not run the ball like that? I mean the 0-16 Browns even had a good run game that year. I mean, how bad can your run game be? I mean, their O-line is not bad. Like, they have Josh Sitton, Larry Warford. I mean, they have a good O-line.
They invested a lot a couple years ago in the draft, too. I just can't let this go full sweep to Lions. I've got to go the Bears on this one.
Okay.
I feel like they get
I'm
their win.
going to take Lions by 10. I'm going to take Lions by
By
10.
10.
Lions by 10.
I
I'll
think
take
the
the
Bears-
Bears. Last second field goal, Eddie Pinheiro.
No way.
I'll take them by 7. I'll take the Bears by 7.
I'll take the Lions, but I believe the Bears will cover the spread in this one.
It'll be
as well.
close in the fourth quarter, though.
All right. I think this is going to be unanimous. Ravens, Bengals.
Ravens.
I'm going to go with Baltimore. And how about you?
Hot take, I'm taking the Bengals.
No way.
I am taking the Bengals.
That's
Ryan
funny.
Finley.
Trap game.
No way.
Trap
No.
game.
You can go to
Coming
that
off a short, they're on a short week, right?
Yep.
Trap game. I'm taking
No
the Bengals.
way.
Tickets,
I'm taking
tickets
the
as low
Bengals.
as $34.
Wow.
I am taking the Bengals at home.
Oh my goodness.
At
Okay.
home.
Well, guys, we're going to have to kick Streetcar off the podcast. That
Yeah.
might have been the worst prediction I've ever heard. We'll talk about this next week after the Ravens win.
Yep.
Let's go Buffalo to Cleveland. I have the Bills
Man, this one's tough.
to turn over.
I'm going to take the Browns at
quarterbacks.
home. I'm going to take the Browns at home.
Okay.
Oh man, this sucks.
I mean,
Got it.
everyone's predicted the Browns all year, and it just
Yeah,
never
you know
happens.
what? Hopefully I
Another
jinx
trap game for the Bills.
I'm
So
gonna
it's
go. I'm
like-
gonna jinx it. I'm gonna go with the Bills because, I mean, hot take here. I think Josh Allen's gonna emerge as the best quarterback out of that class.
Nope.
I'm gonna go Bills.
I'm gonna
by-
take
or Browns by
Josh
5.
Allen over Lamar Jackson for my future. He just wins. He just wins.
His defense wins.
Lamar
Just
Ja-
His defense wins.
Lamar Jackson wins too, but like Josh Allen does win, and he does score when you need him to.
I feel that
He's had
Lamar
one
is
bad
more
game all year.
accurate
He's
than
had bad
Josh Allen.
games.
I think Lamar doesn't throw as many interceptions as Josh Allen. I know Lamar is a better runner than Josh Allen.
But he has a lot more to work with than what Josh Allen has on offense. Josh Allen's best receiver is what? Cole Beasley? I mean, Lamar Jackson.
John Brown.
Could be John Brown.
I mean, other than
it is John
Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews, who's
those are great
been
weapons.
falling off a little bit. I don't know. Lamar Jackson doesn't have a whole lot of weapons either.
His run game is nice, though.
Yeah,
He does have Mark Ingram.
he is the run game, but
He
yeah.
is the run game as well. Yep. And Josh Allen does have a worse O-line. No
Moving
question
on.
about that.
Moving on. Falcons, Saints in New Orleans. I'm gonna take the Saints here.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints as well. Alvin Kamara's finally coming back. Good for my fantasy team. So I'm going to take the Saints as well.
Matt Ryan comes back too.
Yep.
At the beginning of the season, I picked the Falcons to go to the Super Bowl because I just like to do that. I like to pick some far-off teams. I thought they were on pace for a great year. I thought Matt Ryan had the most weapons he's ever had. They've been awful. Don't know how or why.
Yeah.
I lean towards picking them, but I think I got to go with Drew Brees and the Saints.
You think the Falcons will cover the spread here?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I think they'll make it closer than you would think.
All right, heading into our game of the week, Giants-Jets, the battle for New York.
Yeah, it's home game for both teams. As a Jets fan, I'll go last.
I feel like it's gonna be a home game for the Giants.
Giants always pack MetLife, so I'm gonna take the Giants here.
Yep, me too.
Okay, it's Leonard Williams versus his old team. I think he knows a lot about the Jets offense. I don't think they'll be able to completely change the offense in a couple of weeks. My prediction is the Giants will win by 10 to 14 points, and Adam Gase will be fired before the Jets' next game after this.
I feel like the Jets could cover the spread. The spread is Giants minus 2.5, so I think the Jets could cover it. But I gotta go with the blue.
And in Week 9, Saquon Barkley was held under 100 scrimmage yards for the second time in 3 games since returning from that injury we saw early in the season.
He hasn't been the same.
And he hasn't had a rushing touchdown in consecutive games for just the second time in his career. He's never gone 3 games without a rushing touchdown.
Could Saquon Barkley not be a top 3 running back?
I think that injury is just really just messing him up right now.
I think
his
right
offensive
now,
line is among the worst in the league.
McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, and Ezekiel Elliott.
Or Kamara.
I'll put Ezekiel Elliott at 2.
Kamara's
not been great.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I'll put Ezekiel Elliott at 2.
Top 6.
Over Dalvin Cook?
Over Dalvin Cook. I think you have to take in past success too. Dalvin Cook 1 year to Zeke, who's been doing this ever since he came into the league.
But his receptions have gone down. He had 0 receptions last week.
That's true. Nick Chubb has been very good too.
That is true. I would put him top 5.
Moving on, Arizona versus Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to take the Buccaneers here at home.
I'm going to go with the Buccaneers too. Because they've just been well at home. They almost beat Seattle. And, Jameis Winston, he's been throwing a lot of picks, but he's been throwing a lot of touchdowns. And that wide receiver duo, I think it could be the best in the league. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
And a note on Mike Evans, he's the first player to have 180-plus receiving yards in consecutive games since Julio Jones back in 2014. So Mike Evans is definitely legit. I feel like he's left out of a lot of these best wide receiver conversations.
He should be in there.
I will take Tampa Bay on this one, but against you two, I think Chris Godwin will have a better week than Mike Evans this week, as they will key in on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin will be left to feast.
Watch out. Cardinals X Factor. Christian Kirk coming back off an injury. He just gets a lot of volume, and against this Tampa Bay defense, he's got it. He's got to do well. I think he's going to go well.
Okay, we'll breeze through these last couple. I've got the Colts against the Dolphins.
Yep,
I got the Colts against the Dolphins. Yep,
big game. Panthers Packers. I think that's a big one.
I got the Packers. I don't think they get embarrassed again. I think
the Packers.
I'm going to take the Panthers.
Okay.
I'm going to take Panthers in Green Bay.
Lambeau.
In Lambeau, I'm going to take the Panthers.
I love Kyle Allen. I'm going to go. Hot take here. Kyle Allen is better than Dak Prescott. I think.
Okay, stop.
I think he's better than Dak Prescott.
This year? Stop.
Yes, this year. He does have a better record. 5-1.
Yes, Kyle Allen didn't lose to the Jets.
He didn't lose to the Jets. He's thrown less he has less turnovers.
I feel like McCaffrey's primed for another big game here in
That
Lambeau.
is true. Yep, no question. All right, Rams Steelers.
I've got the Rams.
In Pittsburgh.
Juju's among those players that's on the injury report, cannot play this week. James Conner already out or doubtful, but leaning towards out. And if Juju doesn't play,
and Jalen Samuels
I'm gonna take the Rams.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. However, I'm still gonna go with the Steelers, even though.
Wow.
I'll take a Jalen Ramsey interception in this game, and the Rams will win by 2 scores.
Now, although I have the Rams winning this game, I feel like T.J. Watt's gonna have a big game. I don't know. I have this feeling, but I think T.J. Watt's gonna have a big game.
All right, let's go next. Big one, Vikings-Cowboys.
No Thielen playing.
But the Vikings, though their record shows 6-3, they haven't beaten a team over 500 besides the Eagles.
That's why I'm taking the Cowboys at home.
But neither have the Cowboys.
But I'm taking the Cowboys at home.
Cowboys at home, I am still unsure. I'm leaning towards Dallas here as well, simply because of the fact that Thielen is not playing. But the Vikings will cover the spread.
A couple marquee matchups in a row. It's if I'm not mistaken, it's a short week for Dallas. I will take the Vikings because I feel like the Cowboys might be a little tired, might be a little drowsy coming into this game, expecting not a whole lot from Minnesota. And I think Minnesota might lock down the Dallas offense and get a win.
It's a fair point. Now, I think this one is the real game of the week.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be here to
Seahawks
witness
Niners.
this game.
Yep.
Seattle versus San Francisco, undefeated team versus MVP frontrunner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look, I am a 49er fan. But if I'm being completely honest, I feel like Seattle's going to win this. Oh my goodness. I feel like Seattle's going to win this, man.
Niners are going to take it. And it's not even going to... I don't think it's even going to be close.
Really?
Yes.
So
Not even close?
So score
Yes.
prediction?
I don't know. I think it might even...
I honestly feel like Seattle's going to win this.
I think
just
it's
have
gonna
such
be
a bad
30.
feeling about this game.
30-17. I think the
Wow.
Niners, I think the Niners rout them because they just bounce back game. They have a long ass break, like a long break.
I'll take the Seahawks in this matchup. I just think that they're gonna put the Niners in their place. I feel like it'll be a close game.
But what good teams have the Seahawks beat?
I just don't think that anyone's going to stop Russell Wilson right now. I think that he'll do a good job avoiding the pressure that the Niners put on him, which is some things that quarterbacks haven't really been able to do against the Niners this year. They've been going down when they get pressured. I think that Wilson is the best at evading pressure in the league. I feel like he makes some plays late in the game to win.
The Seahawks just allowed 34 points to the Bucks, and Jameis didn't even throw a pick. Imagine what they can do with Jimmy Garoppolo, who just had the game of his life against the Cardinals. And he's had a long break, Thursday to Monday. I think the Niners are going to rout him here.
And San Francisco started a season 8-0 for the second time in franchise history, first time since 1990.
Mm-hmm.
And the Niners beat Arizona most recently 28-25, allowing their most points this season and posting their smallest margin of victory. So I feel like their momentum, it's still up there, but I feel like it had to take a little bit of a decline after that game. But I feel, I don't know. I can't explain. I just feel like Seattle's just going to win this.
All right.
They're going to rout the Seahawks.
All right, so score prediction. I will go with 24-21 Seattle.
30-17.
Lead change in the fourth quarter. Shrikar, what about you?
I'm going to go, I have no clue. I have no idea. I feel like it's going to be a super close game. I don't think it's going to be a 3-point game. I'm going to go with a 6-point game. I think Seahawks by 6.
I'm going to go 30-17, sticking with it, and then bold prediction, another black cat will scamper on the field.
Okay, without talking about the Colts and Miami, can someone pick a lock of the week?
Good question. I'm going to go with my lock of probably...
Saints over Falcons for me.
Saints over Falcons, okay.
I will take the Giants over the Jets. I'm a Jets fan through and
You're
through.
saying that's a lock?
But I'm going to lock it up. The Giants will beat the Jets. The Jets have looked so bad. And I think Adam Gase has ruined the culture in the locker room. They've had another injury grievance filed against them this week. They've traded away one of their best defensive interior players in Leonard Williams. They're playing against him this week after knowing a lot about the offense and the offensive line. I think that the Giants are a lock for this week.
I'm locking the Bucks over the Cardinals.
Wow.
Wow.
I think that's a close game.
Yep.
That's going to be a close game. I don't know about that.
Locking the Bucks over the Cardinals.
All right.
And
Okay.
the upset of the week?
Upset of the week? Well, for me, it would be the Bengals trap game. But even, yeah, I think it's going to be Bengals for me. Bengals or Panthers.
Yep.
Well, I've got Seattle. I don't think there's a bigger upset than beating the only undefeated team in the league.
Or Seahawks, yep.
I'm going to go with the Steelers over the Rams. I believe that Steelers are not favored in this game, and I'm going to take the Steelers.
Okay, and there's two huge college football games this week. We have Penn State versus Minnesota. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Penn State will blow out Minnesota. Minnesota has not played a single good team on the way to the undefeated record. I got Penn State big.
Minnesota, please win. But yes, if we're being honest, I got Penn
Yeah, I
State.
got Penn State. And then LSU, Alabama,
Biggest
marquee matchup.
college football game of the year.
Yeah, for
no
sure.
question. Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh, man. I'm torn. I'm going to go...
I'm going to say I really want to pick LSU. I'm going to pick LSU.
LSU. I will
I'm gonna go
take
LSU.
Alabama 21 to 7. I'll take Alabama 21 to 17. I think they
Wow.
make Joe Burrow look human. He has multiple turnovers,
Wow.
more than one, and I just think that after this week he will not be number one in the Heisman race. I think Alabama defense is just that good. I think they're going to be able to stop Joe Burrow.
But see, like you said earlier, it really depends on if Delpit or Tua comes back.
Yeah.
So it's I'm going to take LSU for now, but barring injuries, Alabama could steal this
I'm
one.
taking Alabama because of Delpit, simply. But LSU will cover the spread, and it'll be a close game.
Yeah, I think if Tua doesn't play, Delpit cannot play if Alabama wants to win.
Yep.
And other way around, I think if Delpit doesn't play, you need Tua to not play. But I'm going to go with they both play this week and Alabama gets the win.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that'll wrap up this episode of The Cold Hard Truth. We'll be back with you next week covering some of those biggest games and some points across multiple leagues. From Jack Smith, Anish Gupta, and Srikar Gendron, we'll see you next week.